In this video, I'm going to talk about manifestation. I'll give you all the tools and information you need to get you started on your manifesting journey. Manifestation is at play at all times. Through the law of attraction and other laws of the universe, you are manifesting all the time. So why not use these forces intentionally and manifest the dreams and wishes and the life of your desire? Process of manifestation works in 3 steps. The first step is sending out your wish to the universe. The next step is the longest step, which is, I call it brewing, or a gestation process, during which your wish is being formed, fulfilled, acted upon. And the last stage is receiving it. And of course, the receiving stage involves you doing inventory of the whole process and of your result, and make changes accordingly for your future manifestations. Then set bigger and more important goals, and in not only in one area but all other areas of your life. This is also a powerful way of conscious evolution, a powerful means of spiritual awakening, because through each manifestation journey you grow and evolve spiritually as you activate and become more aware of your mindsets, your emotions, your thinking, and you are becoming more of a conscious, deliberate creator of your own life. So come along with this journey and let's dive in. The law of attraction works at all times. Manifestation happens through the law of attraction as well as other universal laws. So you are manifesting by default all the time. You attract your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions. So through deliberate act of creation, you will fine-tune your focus and your energy in one direction, the direction of your wish, and you will become a conscious creator of your own life and reality. The word desire means desire of the Father, of the Lord, which means that it is a sacred phenomenon, that you as a divine being having this physical experience have this innate potential, ability, and sacred responsibility to manifest your dreams, because creativity is a divine trait. You as a divine being, through this divine right, can affect your physical reality and become a more wholesome human being that is consciously manifested and rooted, that is consciously rooted in his spiritual dimension as well. So the manifestation process has 3 stages. The first one is sending out your wish to the universe. The second step, which is the longest one, is so-called gestation, the gestation process, or the period where your wish is brewing, where your wish is being acted upon by universal forces, of course, through your own direct interference. The stage where your wish is in the gestation process, just like a seed that you planted, takes some time to gestate, mature, before it comes into fruition and grows as a plant bearing fruit. So this process involves you adjusting and fine-tuning your energy, your mindset, your beliefs, your feelings. And the final step is the receiving process, or reaping the benefit, reaping the fruit of your manifestation. Of course, this step also involves doing inventory of your results and your experience, and fine-tuning and learning lessons to set bigger and higher goals. So the first step is sending your wish out to the universe. It is a very important step and needs to be done very, very carefully. You allot a specific time and you can even do it as a ritual. You can light a candle, prepare beforehand, have your ideas organized and your mind cleared. So you write down what you want on paper. It's very important, because when you're writing down your wish on paper, you're engaging your thinking, feeling, as well as your kinesthetic element, which is the body. Make sure you write your wish as a complete sentence, a full statement of whatever you want to achieve. It is important that you write your statement in the present moment. For example, I am happy and grateful that I have this $2,000 or new car, whatever you want it to be. And also add in a healthy and positive way. It is very important, and I'll discuss more later about this, because if you don't add this statement, your wish may come true, but it may come in a form that is not satisfactory to you, or it may come through negative means, or it may involve some kind of accident, or it may come through negative means. So it's very important that you add that phrase of in a healthy and positive way. So I am happy and grateful that I have my own successful business, if you want to know specifics of what the business is, or that I have this $5,000 or a new car in a healthy and positive way. After writing down the statement, you do a visualization. You get into a meditative state and imagine this wish fulfilled. In your visualization, you engage all your faculties: thinking, imagination, feeling, and the sensory. So you imagine a big picture. What does the wish fulfilled look like? Then fill in the details with sensory experiences. What do you hear? What do you look like? What are the colors? Imagine, see the picture in great details. What's in the picture? Who is in the picture? Hear people congratulating you if this applies to your wish. Or what do you look like? What are you doing? What's around you? The sensory aspect may be very important, especially if you're someone who thinks in terms of general ideas and big picture statements, rather than focuses on specific sensory details, rather than someone who is rooted in the sensory experiences of day-to-day life. Also very important, engage your emotional center. What do you feel like? What are you experiencing at the emotional level? What are those positive emotions that you're feeling at the moment? So take a screenshot of this with your mind, as well as emotions, and as well as with all your 5 senses. After this first stage, then there is this second stage, which is the gestation process. This is where all your hard work goes. Throughout this process, you revisit your picture, your order to the universe, and whether through a regular rituals, meditation processes, or so throughout this period, you implement some kind of routine where you do your meditation or visualization, or you do your affirmations, where you revisit that picture of the order of your wish and engage in it actively. The same way, repeat that picture, engaging all your sensory faculties as well as your emotions, and stay in it for as long as you can. Well, it depends on the length. It can be short segments, or it can be weekly longer sessions, but make sure that you revisit this picture frequently to teach your body, to teach your being about this picture about this wish so that your wish comes into fruition sooner than later. Affirmations can be very helpful. It all depends on your personality and default psychological wiring. So until you get to know what works for you, it's recommended that you do all these exercises. For example, for me, affirmations work very successfully because affirmations force me to actively engage in my wish energetically. I do my affirmations while walking intentionally, or when I'm on an evening walk. I recite my affirmations aloud because it helps me remember better. It teaches my body better because I'm an auditory learner. Affirmations also help me get in that state of mind, in that emotional state that is necessary to attract my desired reality sooner and more effectively. Another important activity you will engage in during this gestation process is doing inventory of your beliefs and mindsets. Examine what you believe about manifesting your wish. For example, if you're manifesting money, ask yourself if you believe it is possible to receive that. If you believe that there is some, notice what limiting beliefs or mindsets you have towards achieving your goal. For example, if you are working to manifest a new car, but you have doubts or you believe that it's not really possible, or how is it gonna come to me, or who is gonna give it to me, or how is that possible, then it means that you have reservations about your receptivity. So work to change those beliefs. Shift your mindset that you are a divine being, and through the full power of creativity that's within you, through this divine force, you are fully able to manifest your desired reality. So you can include this in your routine where you sit down and make a list of limiting beliefs you have, or any emotional setbacks you're experiencing around the topic of manifestation. A very good tool is doing mini visualizations, and it works like this. So imagine you are sitting in front of what you're manifesting, whether it's a large sum of money, or your soulmate, your love partner, or your desired car. And then notice the feelings and thoughts that come up as you're looking at this. Try even to get close to it, to reach out for it and see what comes up inside. If you see that you're held back by the feelings of, yeah, but am I worthy of receiving it? What if they reject me? Or, wow, there it is, my favorite person, but you see the car of your desires. For example, you see the car of your dreams, but you're having difficulties getting close to it, or it's not quite what you wanted. It's not the kind of car that you want, or you can't see it clearly. Notice what comes up and then make adjustments accordingly. So that means that based on what you see, based on what you experience in these mini visualizations, lets you know what's holding you back. So what is the emotion associated with it? What's holding you back from stepping forward and claiming that wish, that object? What's stopping you from stepping forward and fully claiming that desire that you seek to manifest? This exercise will give you a clear picture of what's holding you back and what could delay your manifestation. So then go inside and work on that particular belief or emotion that is holding you back. So throughout this gestation process, you should increase your level of awareness. You should observe from moment to moment in your daily life your thoughts and feelings. I know it's not easy. You're gonna have some difficulties at the beginning, but don't give up, but remain persistent. So at any given moment during the day, stop and notice where your awareness is. Remind yourself of the journey you're on and the wish that you're manifesting, and constantly direct your focus towards that wish. It is very important that your emotional state is geared towards your manifestation during this process. So try to get into the feeling states of your manifested reality. What feelings do you want to experience? Try to exercise those from moment to moment basis in your daily life. It's not always going to be possible because we work, we engage with other people, but try to increase the moments where you focus on that wish fulfilled, where you teach your heart to prepare for receiving that wish. Feelings are important because feelings are what draw your desire into fruition, into your reality. So focus on your emotions. Again, if you can't make it work during the day, do mini sessions of these feelings of your wish fulfilled as well as gratitude. When you don't know what your dream fulfilled will feel like, or if you're someone who struggles with feelings, getting into emotional states, or identifying emotions, not all of us are good at that, that's okay, then focus on the feelings of gratitude. You can't ever go wrong with gratitude, because gratitude is a high vibrational frequency and it allows us to step into that energy vibration that will help you get your wish fulfilled sooner. Also, a very important activity during this process is journaling, where you write down your feelings. You can also implement journaling as a routine. Journal your thoughts, emotions. Again, write over again your wish fulfilled, your desire, or simply read what you wrote on your first day when you sent out the wish to the universe. Read that statement over and over and repeat it in your mind as an affirmation. Next thing I want to talk about is letting go and trusting the process. Letting go and trusting the process are pretty much the same thing. Trusting the process implies that you have faith. You believe that your wish will manifest, that the divinity, that the divine forces and the universal laws are working in your favor to deliver you your desire. So this requires persistence and consistency. And again, if you're not someone who is naturally comfortable with routines and consistency, you will have to make some extra effort to implement some kind of consistency in this period, because it's that consistency or that routine that creates focus, which is absolutely necessary and crucial in manifesting a desire. Letting go implies faith. It's that steadfast belief that you are certain that your wish will be manifested. And often check with yourself to see if there is any of feelings of effort or need or anxiety at any point when you think about your goal, because want and need imply lack. When you want something or need something, you are sending out a vibration that you don't already have it, so you're exuding the vibration of lack to the universe. And since we receive back whatever we send out, then you are not a match to your desired reality. So letting go is a very important process of mastering faith. Manifestation implies your full engagement. You're engaging all four centers: the imagination, thinking, your feeling or emotional center, and doing or acting. Let's talk about action. How do you know what actions to take or when to take action during your manifestation process? It's a very tricky subject. Again, as with all else, you will experiment and try what works best, because every person is different and the manifestation process works different for everyone, because we're all wired differently. So I'm giving you many tools, and you choose and experiment with all of them and narrow down to what works best in your future endeavors. Often you hear take inspired action. That is a good tip. However, how do you know what inspired action is? Or if you're someone who is an action taker, who is a doer by default, and you keep on doing even more than what you were doing before, then that's not going to produce good results either. So how do you know what actions to take? Again, you experiment and find out for yourself. Inspired action is often associated with intuition. It's the hint that you receive from within, from your intuition. For example, such actions will be very beneficial. A very important action is the one that comes from within, that spontaneous inkling you get from within, from your intuition. And yes, this kind of action can work. It's most likely a healthy type of action, but how do you know which action is coming from intuition and which one is just your need to do yet another thing? Again, it's a very deep topic. I will address this in my future videos, but right now I'll give you a general formula how to gauge your intuition driven actions. So to identify an intuitive hint from within, you have to become more in tune with your internal world. Intuitive hints come in the form of sudden realization. They come in the form of that nagging voice inside that keeps on popping up in your awareness, that message that keeps on resurfacing in your mind. Okay, if any of such ideas pop in your mind unexpectedly out of nowhere, try to pursue them and do research on them and act on them. It can also be that something you've been pondering over for a long time, and all of a sudden you hear that on TV or on social media, or somebody mentions something, and that triggers your realization of something. That might be that trigger, that hint of action. It can also be in the form of dreams. If you have any reoccurring dream, that might be connected to your next step, next action. So again, try to experiment with these and fine tune as you go. One thing I want to warn you is that do not jump into hasty action when manifesting something, especially if you're someone who likes to jump into action without due consideration. Very important. Something like this, I have made this mistake when I first started my manifestation journey a while ago. I immediately made a big investment financially that I could not keep up. This experience taught me a lesson that you do not jump in big investments, that you wait and you take calculated risks that involve small steps, and small steps that are based on your energy and vibration of receptivity. This is why you do not start with setting a goal to manifest $2 million if you are someone making 50 grand a year, because you're not a vibrational match to receiving that dream. So always focus and fine-tune your energy of receptivity in relation to your desired goal. So always work to gauge your vibration of receptivity as it relates to your target of manifestation. A very important step also in this process is to embody physically. So we talked about mindset and beliefs, then we talked about emotional investment in this process, and now talk about physical embodiment. Who would you be and how would you show up if you already had this dream fulfilled? This involves how you walk, what's your body language, how do you show up, how do you talk, what is your vocabulary that you use in your daily life, how would the person who has what you're trying to achieve show up. So notice and shift your body language. Always walk with your posture up, head straight, shoulders back, whatever posture of a winner is, right? So make sure you focus on that too. It's gonna be difficult to always be mindful of it, but make efforts. No, it can be difficult to remember this, which is why routines and rituals come into play. I do these exercises during my affirmations. I like to engage emotionally, mentally, and physically when I'm doing my affirmations. Obviously, affirmations are physical process, but I repeat my affirmations as I'm walking, and I try to take those deliberate steps with a healthy posture. So this can be very helpful. And let's talk about the third step, which is receiving your manifested reality. Sometimes it may come in a very cut and dry form. Sometimes it will be clear and obvious when your manifestation arrives. However, this may not always be the case. Now let's talk about the final step, receiving. Sometimes your manifestation comes in a very clear form, exactly how you envisioned. But sometimes it comes in a form that is different from what you had imagined. What does that mean? That means that you were lacking in certain aspects for your dream to come true in its entirety. So the first time I ever set a goal consciously was manifesting $250. I wanted to start small, and then I increased to $1,200, and then $2,500, and then the $7,000. So I set a goal to manifest it in a month, but it took a while and it came in 3 months. So that made me realize that, okay, I have some delay in my manifestation. And actually, I'm noticing that I do have that. I'm noticing that seems to be consistent with me, that it takes always longer than the time I set in my manifestation. And that's something that I need to work on, and I'm still working on, of course, but at least that's a feedback for me on what I need to work. So I'll talk more about timing in the end, but oftentimes our manifestation comes, but we don't recognize it because it came in a different form, in a different way that you had anticipated. So notice it. And if it's missing something, then take inventory. What is that is missing and what you can do next time to fill in that gap. So that's what I mean when I say that manifestation is a process, it's a journey. It's not just a one-time thing. Be grateful for your creation. Be grateful for receiving the gift of manifestation. Do a gratitude prayer or express gratitude through feelings, and set new goals. And you can even start setting multiple goals, both long-term, short-term, in many different areas of life. And you can also set fun goals, like I sometimes like to set, to just have fun. Goals that involve animals or birds or funny serendipitous events and so on. And finally, let's talk about timing. You can set a desired time frame or a deadline at the time of sending out your wish to the universe. Essentially, you are setting that time limit for yourself, so that for your unconscious mind. But know that it may take longer, because it depends upon you and your readiness for receptivity. Also may have heard of so-called divine timing, that manifestation happens in divine timing, and you really cannot do anything to change anything about it. I believe that yes, manifestation happens in divine timing, but that divine timing depends on us. Again, how diligent we are in our persistence and in our efforts and in shifting on mindsets and emotions towards positive outcome, and also how receptive you are energetically to receiving your desired outcome. Because after all, manifestation is a whole person process where you engage your mind, emotions, actions, and the body. So the body is an essential part of manifestation, takes little longer to shift and change because the body is solid. So in that regard, it may take longer. But overall, again, with practice, you can increase your chances to optimize your receptivity time frame. But overall, over time, you can increase and you can improve your odds of manifesting within your desired time frame. This was a basic, yet quite elaborate at the same time, overview of the manifestation process. I will be addressing these steps and areas in greater depth in my future videos. So stay tuned.